is IHTV, and today we're going to talk about things to know when visiting Taiwan. Let's do it. First thing we'll talk about is the arrival process here into Taiwan. For me, I'm coming from the United States. I get 90 days. It was like a visa on arrival, or you could say visa free. You can go online to see which countries get the visa on arrival versus which ones don't. But there's a lot of countries that get the 90 days. So 90 days in Taiwan, it's a lot of time to do a lot of fun stuff. Strict rules about plants and animals that you bring in here, so you will want to review that. Don't even try and bring any sort of teas or herbs from other places, because you might get hemmed up there at customs. They're very strict on what they allow to come in their country, so it's better not to bring any sort of plant or animal life. I don't know what kind of animals you would bring, maybe beef jerky, I don't know. But stuff like that might cause a problem. But when you go through immigration, it is a pretty easy process. They require you to fill out one form when you arrive, and they give you 90 days. Also, most international arrivals occur at Taipei International Airport. You can do departures in the south at Kaohsiung, but most of the arrivals need to happen at Taipei. Taiwan, formerly known as Formosa, has around 23 million people living here. If you go from north to south, that's around 245 miles. If you go the middle of the island, the widest part is around 90 miles wide. So it is a fairly large island. Taiwan is also considered one of the most densely populated places on planet Earth. Very crowded place. If you look at the whole west coast of Taiwan, it's all cities from Kaohsiung all the way up to Taipei in the north. Use the Taiwanese dollar. The Taiwanese dollar is around 30 to 31 Taiwanese dollars to $1 US, and that's at the current exchange rate right now here in August 2023. Taiwan is a very safe country. The things that you need to be on the lookout for are not necessarily violent crime or petty theft, but more than anything, road safety, making sure you're being safe when there's a typhoon, other types of safety precautions that go along with natural disasters. There's earthquakes. Those are some things to really consider. But generally speaking, Taiwan is a very safe country. Even if you look on most global index, Taiwan ranks up there at the top. So that doesn't mean that you're gonna 100% not have any problems. It just means the likelihood of anything going wrong because of safety, very low. But do take general precautions. I mean, you can pretty much safely walk around most of Taipei and other parts of Taiwan at night without really having to worry. That doesn't mean going into dark alleyways as usual. I have to put that out there because some people say, oh, I could just walk in a dark alleyway at any given time, anywhere I want, in the most sketchy neighborhoods, and nothing's gonna happen. Well, still should take general precautions, but generally speaking, you can walk in dark areas in Taipei or Taiwan anywhere without any real issues. Now let's talk about hotels and accommodation. There are hostels that can be available for people who want the cheap stuff, but they're not as common as you would think. There are cheap budget hotels I've seen that can be around $70 to $80 US, even here right now. But on average in Taipei and most parts of Taiwan, expect to pay around 3,500 Taiwanese dollars. That's around 100 US, all the way up to around 8,000 Taiwanese, but that's on the high end. Typically, I would say 180 to 200 US dollars for a nominal, usual run-of-the-mill corporate chain hotel here. Just like most big cities in Asia, a little bit cheaper than Singapore, certainly much cheaper than Tokyo. There's many different chain hotels. Marriott has a lot more properties in Taiwan than Hilton, and then there's a few Hyatt, but really you can find many different modern hotels. They have a unique toilet. I'll have to show you the toilet. That's probably the number one thing that stands out the most about Taiwan. They have these Japanese style commodes with lots of different buttons. I'll have to show you right now. Yeah, so where else do you go where you see toilets that are like robots? This is actually a very simple kind of toilet. I've seen them much more gadgeted out, but you can see right here, we've got a thing on the wall that isn't Chinese. I don't know what it all means, but it's quite high tech. Part of it has a toilet seat that goes up and down on its own, also flushes on its own.
And then I believe there's a commode. Let's see what all these gadgets and gizmos are. I wish I knew exactly, but they're heated. It's a heated toilet, which is funny because this isn't Japan where it gets cold.
Also a bit cheaper than Hong Kong, but I would say it's on the level of Manila and Bangkok pricing. Maybe Bangkok is a little bit more affordable. Vietnam probably comparable, Ho Chi Minh City, with prices you would see here in Taipei. Now let's talk about my favorite subject, food. Okay.
Tom yum soup with pork and a cucumber salad. Alright, we're doing hot pot with New Zealand beef. So it is half and half. This one's spicy, this one's not spicy. So I've put a little bit of everything in each side. So that's a rice bun with chicken and curry sauce. Like a coconut curry.
Bubble tea was invented here in Taiwan, so definitely get some boba and bubble tea. Very good. It's very popular here. I like it. Now, from my experience, the activities to do around Taiwan are many, and I would say most of the good stuff that you're going to really enjoy about Taiwan is going to be outside of the city. Let me explain.
That's right, everybody. You want to check out Taipei 101. This was formerly the tallest building in the world. You can go all the way up to the top floor where the observation deck is. From here, you can head to the Chiang Kai-shek Memorial. Here they have a theater in this complex and also a statue. And then you have the Longshan Temple, which is another popular thing to do across Taipei, is visit these temples, and walking street. There are a few different walking streets here. Taipei is very much known for this activity.
If you plan on riding the metro, which I do recommend, you're going to need one of these easy cards. They call it a TC card also, but cost 100 Taipei dollars, Taiwanese dollars. And then I just topped up for 100 just to start. They only take cash. So for 200 Taiwanese dollars, you're in the game. That's around like less than $10. Now let's talk about some fun facts to know about Taiwan. So there is actually an active volcano. It's right next to Taipei, believe it or not, here in the north, Tatun volcano. There's actually a land bridge that connects Taiwan and China, but it's one of the islands off the Taiwanese coast, closer to China actually. They actually have 4 different languages here that they speak, and those 4 languages are Mandarin, Taiwanese, English, and an indigenous language known as Formosan, because it used to be called Formosa. Although it's mostly Chinese, and you'll notice that by the way they speak, and the people that are here are Chinese descendants, most of them. It was a Japanese colony for 50 years. Did you know that? Something funny is Taiwan is often confused with Thailand. I know that when I was a teenager, I actually used to confuse the two myself, so it's not too uncommon. But Thailand is over there in Indochina, and Taiwan is off the coast of China, north of the Philippines, south of Japan. Let's talk about the weather here in Taiwan. Right now I'm here in August. It's definitely typhoon season all across Southeast Asia really, but we're actually dealing with the typhoon right now. So you can expect typhoon season basically from June until around November or October-ish. But yeah, it's rainy off and on. The benefit of that is it's not quite as hot as it usually is when the sun is out just blaring hot. So with that being said, I would highly recommend you consider bringing a rain jacket at the very least, and an umbrella, something small and compact. Those long ones I'm not a big fan because they're very hard to travel with. But you can see right now I wish I had one of those umbrellas. The reason I don't have one is because my hotel gives me the long ones, but I just probably will buy a small one that's pocket sized. Now, the language spoken here is predominantly Mandarin and Taiwanese. There is a little bit of English, although you are going to need Google Translate. I would say maybe 25% of the people here speak English fluently, and then another 15 to 20% on top of that speak it enough to communicate with them. but then the rest, over 50% of them, you're gonna really need Google Translate or some sort of translator app because, yeah, they're speaking Mandarin or Taiwanese. It's their country. As far as some apps that you're going to want to have here, definitely have Google Translate. Also consider getting an eSIM app. I use a couple different ones that I'm trying out right now, or you can get an eSIM because if you have a new iPhone, it doesn't even have a SIM card, but if you have an older iPhone, you can just swap out the iPhone. But that's definitely going to be a way to save money because if you're getting international roaming with Verizon, in my case, it's $10 per day. Definitely need Google Maps, definitely need Google Translate. Also, having a couple travel apps just to be able to compare what flights cost or transportation. I recommend Kayak or Google Flights. For hotels, you can either use Priceline, Hotels.com, which are not my preferred ones anymore. I'm usually with Hyatt, Hilton, IHG, or Marriott, accumulating points with those guys. If you wanted to go with maybe Choice, they don't really have those here, but they do have Accor, but we'll see. Now let's talk about what to bring. Every time I've come here, it's been warm and muggy. Even if I've come here in like November, was probably the latest into winter that I've come. Now it may get a little bit cool in December, January timeframe, maybe February, but other than that, expect to wear shorts pretty much every time you come here. But with that being said, try to bring a small, compact umbrella. You don't want to be lugging around one of those big umbrellas if you can avoid it. You want one of those, you know, foot-long umbrellas that you just put and then pack away, put it in your pocket. But umbrellas, because you're going to check the weather here quite often. You never know. The rain is always on the horizon. One of the main things you're going to want to do while you're here in Taipei, in particular, is night markets. Really popular thing to do, as you can see. Everyone comes out. This is Taipei City, or New Taipei City. We've got food vendors over here, and then games and stuff over here. It's kind of like a fair, but it happens every night. Kebab.
Thank you everyone for watching Island Hopper TV. If you enjoyed this one, please consider watching another one of our videos. We have a recommended video and another video for you to watch next.